It can be so easy to get lost in chasing the transient things of the world, chasing romantic partners, financial success, status, fame, pleasure. But I've always asked myself this question: is there a way to achieve all the things I could ever want? Love, freedom, success, abundance, and still maintain my authenticity, my values, and never fold on who I am and what I believe true to live the life I desire. The quote goes, "What's a man to gain the world if he loses his soul?" So today I want to talk about how if you can implement surrender and letting go into your life, you are going to open the door to the divine state of wholeness, of unconditional love. And you are going to become a vehicle for all the things you've ever desired to manifest in your life without selling your soul. Because what's the point of having freedom, success, people in our lives if we're coming from a state of lack and fear and insecurity, and we're not able to be present and enjoy the things we could ever want? Surrendering and letting go is not an act of doing nothing. It is an act of allowing. There's a quote and it says, "The truth is like a lion. When you set it free, it will defend itself." A lot of things in our life that are misaligned and inauthentic, we feel the need to defend, whether it's toxic relationships, or it's why you haven't gotten a new job that's actually fulfilling, or why you haven't started eating healthy or prioritizing yourself. Those things need defense because deep down inherently we know that we need to change. We know that we need to reorient our life in a more profound way, oriented around higher principles. And to me, those principles are truth. Like in the Bible, it says the way, the truth, and the life. How can we as individuals let go of versions of ourselves, fears, worries, doubts, insecurities, preventing us from achieving those states, falling into a surrendered state of peace and trust and worthiness, where we are coming from a state of wholeness and we eventually become the source that we seek? Now, the greatest obstruction to unlocking the truth, to allowing yourself to get into a state of surrender and faith, where you can enter the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness, and the rest shall be added unto you, is the fact that throughout all time, all governments, religious structures have externalized this truth. They've externalized this truth in systems and way of living to keep people docile and powerless. They've done it by externalizing teachers and saying, hey, the only way to get to the state you seek is through these other individuals and their way, and if not, you're screwed. And they've done it through doctrines by creating strict, rigid structures to unlock a state that is our God-given right. So today I want to dissolve those structures and create a space where you can move beyond all traditional constructs and return to the source of all things. I was talking to one of my really good friends today, and we're getting ready to go to Mexico, and he said to me, we need to spend our time getting closer to God. And I looked at him and said, if we want to get closer to God, we need to let go of the idea that we are further than we need to be. In the Bible, they say, Jesus says, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And the reason he says this is because, referring back to the structures that we're talking about, there's a verse in the Bible, it's Luke 11:52, and it says, "Woe unto you, lawyers, for ye have taken away the key of knowledge. Ye entered not in yourselves, and them that were entering in ye hindered." What he means by this is, when he's calling out the lawyers, he's speaking about the religious figures during this time, and he's saying, you have taken away the key of knowledge from these people. You have externalized the truth. For you guys have not entered into the kingdom of heaven within yourselves. And because you do that, you've hindered those trying to enter. Luke 17:21. Neither shall they say, lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you. Now, what does the kingdom of God look like? What does the kingdom of God feel like? How do you know you are where you need to be? I'm going to tell you this through the lens of a life event that happened to me in the last 96 hours. A beloved pet of ours, my parents found having trouble breathing. And when we took her to the vet, we found out that a tumor had collapsed her right lung. And unfortunately, we had to put her down and give her a sense of peace, and there was nothing that we could do about it. And when this happened, I was angry, I was vengeful, I had spite. I'm like, why did no one tell me this? I didn't have the opportunity to say goodbye. I was coming from a state of fear and worry, and I was missing part of the story. But after 30 minutes passed, and I was on the treadmill, and for some reason I was just overcome with this profound sense of unconditional love. For every moment I had throughout the course of my life with her, I made an effort to see her and to love her and be a present figure in her life. I moved beyond the grief of loss because I realized the love was always there. Just because she's not here with me in the material anymore doesn't mean that that love doesn't transcend all things. Doesn't mean that that unconditional love is not permanently present in the state that I have access to when I open my eyes to see such things. And this is a perfect metaphor for how surrendering and letting go of these externalizations of truths and these false beliefs allow us to naturally fall into the state that we were looking for. The Creator's unconditional love. It is beyond all conditions. The conditions of having to enter through a spiritual teacher, the conditions of having to enter through a spiritual text, the conditions of having to enter through certain structured eating schedules, not eating meat, wearing certain things. Those are conditions. So if the God of the universe and the creator of all things is always providing unconditional love to us, you really think that there's conditions in between us and that state we seek? There are not. And when you can open your heart to this and you can open your mind to this, you start to let go of the ego's rigid structure. You start letting go of the beliefs that, hey, I don't need to make $1 million and have a cool job and have 100,000 followers on social media to be loved. When man was created in the image of God, you start to realize that we have the right to become the beacon of what we sought. The reason I was able to transcend the grief of loss was because I realized I was the source of that love. I chose love in every moment I had, so I had it. A person who wants peace can choose it right now and immediately attract it to them. A person who wants love right now can immediately choose love and it be instantly attracted to them. That is what they mean when they say the kingdom of heaven is within you. It is an internal state. In Christian mysticism, there's this concept called gnosis. And gnosis translates into an inner profound knowing. It is a revelationary state where your body is overcome with an energetic presence and you just know you are in the midst of these higher divine states. And when you do this, you essentially take a screenshot within your body and you're like, oh my God, that was such a mystical and profound experience. There's so much unconditional love. There's so much peace. There's so much presence. There's so much faith and certainty that you start to recognize that as truth. You start to realize that that is the state the greatest sages and spiritual teachers of all time are talking about. When they say, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness, and the rest shall be added unto you, they are saying, when you attune your mind, your body, your soul to the highest states of unconditional love, of selflessness, your entire perspective and frame of the world is oriented to resonate with that which is in alignment with it. The reason the path ends up going greater than you could have ever planned when you start to live your life in this manner is because you are not willing to sacrifice your internal state, the state that you are invoking within, to chase false idols in the world. You are not willing to put up with a toxic partner because you already have the thing that you once sought. You are not willing to sell your soul for a job because you're already abundant and you already have that peace. And that is the most powerful thing you can do for yourself, is allow yourself to have those things now. If you can dissolve the illusions and the scarcity that is just programmed into you through society, you're going to be able to have everything you wanted and more. In Matthew 7:14 it says, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. This is something Jesus said. He is saying that to get to the gate of heaven, the kingdom, the way is narrow, that leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Why is that? Because few ever come to the realization that they have to look within for the thing they were seeking. You eventually realize you become the source of what you are seeking. And when you are the source, you immediately have. There's no distance in between you and the things you are looking for. Because you realize when you overcome your own selfish worries, your own selfish needs, your own doubts and fears, you realize that we're all sharing the same condition. And when you can become a loving and a present figure for yourself, you can do that for others. And that is where you become fruitful and multiply. You are going to reap what you sow. But if you are sowing fear and worry and doubt and chasing false things and never finding a sense of presence and peace in your life, then you're going to continuously be searching for external things to validate something that you need to allow within. My little brother put it really well. He said, everyone's buying the Wonka bar looking for the golden ticket. But there's a golden ticket in every Wonka bar. Man was created in the image of God. This young man is very profound. He said, we are the living universe. We are the living creator. There's no thing that can change that. There is no bill, no car, no amount of travel or financial success or Rolexes that could ever replace that. As soon as you can realize that you are whole, that you are unified, that you are born out of unconditional love, and it is your natural state when you can just move beyond the narrative of the ego, when you can open your heart and start living from a place of selflessness and recognition that we are all living the same journey, that death is knocking on everyone's door, and while we have this moment, all we can do is love, you'll eventually look around and realize the kingdom of heaven was right here. Ladies and gentlemen, I got nothing but love for you. If you want to continue on this journey with me, let me know in the comments what you want to hear more about. I'm thinking about opening up maybe a little community group chat where we can just all start having this conversation if you're looking to start living this life a little more consistently, beyond the externalization of the truth, beyond the teachers, beyond the doctrines. And I realize there's not really like a community out there that has everything I need. So maybe I need to become the source of what I seek. If that's something you'd be interested in, let me know in the comments. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I got nothing but love for you. Peace.